Alrighty, guys, so we had a pretty decent green day in the stock market today. Well, I guess the Russell didn't have a green day. The Russell went down 0.8%, but other than that, we did have a pretty nice green day. The NASDAQ 100 closed up 0.6%. The S&P went up 0.3%, as we had the Dow close up 0.25%, and the VIX went down 3%. Gold went up 0.1 as silver went down about 0.1%. In a couple of minutes here, excuse me, guys, we will break down Bitcoin and Ethereum and see where those are trading. And of course, we got to break down a bunch of stocks in this video. We'll talk a little bit about the Fed minutes. So sit back, relax, hit that like button. Make sure to get your 10 stocks from Moomoo, link down below, with a $100 deposit, and your 6 stocks from Webull with any amount deposited. Again, all of those are linked down below. And with that being said, let's dive right into the video. So like I said, we had a pretty decent green day other than the Russell. The VIX is now back in the pretty much the mid 20s. It's at 26.75. And what we can see here is the market started getting very choppy as expected right around that Fed minutes release. And we ended up seeing a lot of, number one, volume coming in, which is expected. And we had a lot of upside. Look at this, right around 230. SPY went from $380 and it ran all the way to about $385 by about 330. So just in an hour, SPY went up about 1.3%, and we had triple Q in that same time period probably went up even more, let's be honest. Let's see here, from 286.50 to about 290, almost 291. It went up over 1.5, almost 1.6%. And then you guys can see it had a drastic drop. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. It had a massive run up, and then we ended up collapsing into the close. Triple Q went from 290, almost 291, and it closed a little bit above 288. It dropped about 1% in the last roughly 30 minutes of the session, right? More like 20 minutes. In just 25 minutes, this thing dropped like a brick, right? And you can see the same thing happen here on SPY and on the Russell and on the Dow Jones. So overall, even though we did, tank into the close today, I would consider today overall to be a win for the bulls. But we are not out of the woods yet, even though we, hit a fresh high today in terms of the past couple of days. We've taken out the highs from the past couple of days, but we're not out of the woods yet, guys. You can see here on SPY, we are still technically at a lower high. Now, if we do start breaking 386, 388, 390, okay, that's going to be very bullish. But until then, we are still technically at a lower high right now, and you can see that clearly here based on the downtrend that I drew out. And you can see that on triple Q. Let's see here. Triple Q, we have, it is slightly above the moving averages, but we still have a downtrend lower high intact where it is right now. So triple Q's got to break at least 295 to about 300 for the bulls to really start taking this thing higher based on what I'm seeing right now. So not a lot of craziness, I'd say, came out of the Fed minutes today. Here are a couple of news, excerpts. In discussing potential policy actions at upcoming meetings, participants continued to anticipate that ongoing increases in the target range for the federal funds rate would be appropriate to achieve the committee's objectives. And we all know the committee's objectives at this point. And in particular, participants judged that an increase of 50 or 75 basis points would likely be appropriate at the next meeting. I feel like, I don't know, what do you guys think? I feel like we might get a 50 basis point next meeting, or maybe we get back-to-back 75. We shall see. What do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. We also heard participants concurred that the economic outlook warranted moving to a restrictive stance of policy, and they recognized the possibility that an even more restrictive stance could be appropriate if elevated inflation pressures were to persist. And Captain Obvious here, if inflation pressures were to persist, they're going to have to go harder and be more restrictive that only makes sense, right? And participants recognize that policy firming could slow the pace of economic growth for a time, but they saw the return of inflation to 2% as critical to achieving maximum employment on a sustained basis, the meeting summary stated. So, I mean, let's be honest, guys. When is inflation going to get back to 2%? Because you have to realize 2% is the average that they want. So we had years at 0%, right? And now we're at what? 8.5, 9, realistically, probably over 10%. So, for this to come back to 2%, it's like a balancing act at this point. We're going to have to get inflation down a ton, and that's clearly a difficult task right now. Even though the Fed's cranking up the rates, it's still a very difficult task for them to get that average inflation back to 2%. And I know a lot of you guys could agree with me, and some of you even think that the Fed's going to fail and that we're all doomed. I mean, that's what the doomsdayers think, some doomsdayers at least. And I'm not making fun of you guys, but tell me if I'm wrong, please, in the comments. A lot of people think that the Fed's not going to be able, I don't even want to call them doomsdayers. I guess they're, because there's a little bit of a negative connotation of that. I'm not saying that negatively, but a lot of people that think the economy's doomed and we're not coming back from this, they believe that the Fed actually can't fight inflation. And we'll see. What camp are you in? Do you think the Fed can actually fight inflation, slow it down a little bit? Or do you think we're going to have runaway inflation, the Fed's screwed, they let the party, they kicked the can down the road too long? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you haven't done so already, hit that like button. And don't forget to get your 10 stocks from Moomoo, literally free money with a $100 deposit. Each of those could be valued up to $2,500. And you could also get 6 stocks from Webull, also linked down below, with any amount deposited. And speaking of Webull, let's dive over to Webull and see what's going on with crypto. Currently, Bitcoin is still, I believe when I filmed my last video, it was at 20,500. We are still at 20,500 right now. But what we're noticing is, actually, wait a second. No, I'm wrong. I think when I filmed my previous video, BTC was at 20,200. So it's actually come up a little bit since then. And you can see here, based on the intraday chart, we've been uptrending pretty much all day. I mean, this thing's been uptrending all day. And let's see, are we starting to break out of the consolidation range? Not necessarily, I would say. Maybe it shows better on this. Actually, yeah, potentially we are. And by consolidation phase, I mean, and I covered this a little bit earlier, but Bitcoin ran up to 20,700. It pulled back, and it consolidated at about 20,000, 20,200. And now it looks like it is slowly starting to break back to the upside. So at this point, guys, 20,700 is the next main level, 20,720 to be exact, which if that point were to break into 20,800, okay, maybe we do get a little bit more of a run from there, maybe to 20,200, 500. That's where I could see Bitcoin going in the short term. If it does get hot, we shall see. And Ethereum, let's pull that up. Ethereum's gotten pretty hot. This is up. It hit 1,200 just a couple of minutes ago prior to me filming this video. Now it's at about 1185. Actually, that was about, when was that? 40 minutes prior to me filming this video. It hit about 1,200. So now Ethereum is pulling back a little bit. It's at 1180. But overall, like BTC, it's been uptrending throughout the past couple of hours, and now it is starting to break out. It is. I mean, it took out the 1180 high from the 5th, and we actually double topped at 1180 on the 5th. So we took that out. We hit 1,200. That is a good sign in the short term for Ethereum, but it is not quite yet. Excuse me, guys. Out of the woods. We still have about, let's see here, 1,250. 1260, that's a big resistance coming up, so keep that in your mind, guys. So let's hop back over to ThinkOrSwim and run through my watch list very quickly and see what's going on with some individual stocks. And first of all, I mean, let's talk about Voyager. Voyager has officially, I think they filed for what? Chapter 11 bankruptcy, and I mean, anybody could have thought, or anybody could have predicted that. I mean, it didn't take a rocket scientist to call that one out, guys. And I think they were suspended from trading. I checked the stock earlier. VYG, what the heck's the ticker? VYGVF is the ticker. Yeah, they're suspended. Their stock's currently stuck at 27 cents. And I believe they are going to be delisted. Let me double check. I think they will eventually be delisted. But overall, that's what's going down. Crypto lender Voyager files for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. And I don't believe this means that they're going away forever, but they're going to try and restructure the debt. They're going to try and create a new company, but let's be honest, they're going to have to go through a lot of crap with that. Are they ever going to come back? Probably not. Probably not. And at this point, guys, I mean, this is what happens. The writing was on the wall with Celsius. They didn't get the money back from Celsius. It's just a whole mess. The house of cards collapsed, and they're just left. Owing a lot of money, not being able to pay it back. I mean, it's just a whole mess, guys. So at this point, Voyager, boom, out the window. And I have a feeling a lot of other ones are going to follow. Maybe not a lot of other, lenders or whatever you want to call them, but maybe a couple more could go under. I mean, this could be just the beginning. And we shall see. If Bitcoin really starts going under 20,000, which as of now the chart shows, we just looked at it, that we're consolidating. But if we do get a big break under 20, 18,000, 17,500, under to let's say 15, that's where more margin calls are going to be coming, and the rest of the cards could start collapsing if it goes from 15 to 10, especially under 10. I mean, if Bitcoin goes down another 50%, which who knows, it's possible. If it goes down another 50, it's going to get way, way worse. I mean, we could see something like, I don't know, a Coinbase have some troubles. Probably not a Coinbase, but who knows? Never say never, right? Never say never. We don't really know what could happen, but you got to be prepared for everything. I mean, if you told somebody that owned Voyager back in November that it was going to be a 25-cent stock in 8 months, I mean, nobody would have believed that, but it happened. Here we are, and they're going bankrupt. And essentially, you lost all your money. If you own the stock, if you had, money in the platform, now you're gonna have to file a lawsuit. I mean, this stuff is just a whole freaking. It's a mess. And I'm glad that I don't own Voyager and I don't own any crypto stocks. I used to trade in and out of them, but haven't done that in a while. And I'm glad I've just been staying away from these because it's like a ticking time bomb. I mean, it's like you're walking in what's it called here? You're dodging mines or whatever, right? I mean, this stuff is going to be crazy. So let me know your thoughts about Voyager in the comments. Let's take a look at crude oil very quickly, which today, it held above 95. That is good for the bulls. I mentioned that, how $95, that's been support for crude oil ever since the middle of March. We held it today. That's good. We close at about 97.50. So let's see what happens at about 97.50, $95. I feel like we could get some sort of rally on crude oil, but we have to wait and see. We haven't quite yet gotten it. And by the looks of it, we're not reversing quite yet either. So we got to be patient. And I'm going to set an alert. Maybe let's pull up the 20-day chart and see what's going on. Maybe I'll put an alert at about 100 a barrel. If we start making a move back over there, let's do that. Set an alert right now. Mark is at or above. Okay, maybe we can start reversing a little bit. Maybe we get an extended rally from that point, on the stock. Let's see what else moved today. Beyond Meat, what's up with these crappy stocks out there that keep moving on days where the markets are kind of flat, a little green, a little red? Beyond Meat looks like it's reversing. Maybe it's had enough of selling. I mean, maybe it's gotten down to the point where it can't go down more. I mean, I'm just kidding, guys. I'm sure it could go down more, but it's come down so much. We're finally starting to get a little bit of an extended relief rally on Beyond Meat. You guys can see we are getting a bit of a golden cross. We're above the moving averages. We're trading at a multi-week high. Let's see if this on Beyond Meat continues. And let me make this clear. Beyond Meat, there's no chance I would ever put money in it as an investment. But as a trade, hey, maybe as a trade, in and out type of trade, I I would consider it. We had stocks like Google today. It went up another 1%. Now Google's back over $2,300 a share. And is this getting ready for a run up heading into the split? It's possible. We have big resistance coming up at 23.50, 23.75. If that point is able to break on Google, hey, we might be able to get a squeeze back to the mid-2000s on the stock. For sure, that is in the cards. If 23.75, 2400 breaks, 25.6, right around the corner on Google. So this looks very good heading into the split. And it seems like a lot of big tech did well today. I mean, we had Google up over 1%. Which, if you guys didn't know, I'll tell you right now, I'm sure a lot of you do. It's my biggest individual stock, so that's great. We had Apple today move up about 1% as well, which is good. And I mentioned before, and now it looks like it's happening. If Apple took out the highs from the end of June, which today we did, we hit almost $145 a share. The highs from the end of June were at $143.50. If we continue this breakout, Apple could go 150, and it looks like that is what it's gearing up to do as of now. We had companies like Meta go up a little bit today. Meta went up 1%. Snapchat maybe didn't follow. Yeah, Snapchat went down a little bit, but yesterday Snapchat had a very big day. If you guys remember, I think it went up 9% on the day. What else did we see? Amazon went up 0.75% today. Pretty decent day. Let's see how Vici Properties is playing out. Oh, there you go. This one's at what is it? Almost 31 a share. It went up 0.5%. Let me see. Is this not in my watch list? Why do these stocks magically, or this is actually a REIT, but why do they disappear out of my watch list? It happens sometimes, guys. We have Vici today, went up 0.5%. Looks like it is breaking out of the wedge. My alert is still set at 31.50. If that point is able to break on Vici Properties, watch out for a move towards the mid-30s. I can't say it enough, guys. I'll say it until I'm blue in the face. So Vici, I like it. Technically speaking, it looks fantastic in my opinion. Let's see what else we got here. NVIDIA. Why is NVIDIA still above 150, guys? Let's get NVIDIA under 140. I got excited for a second a couple of days ago and it was at 140, but that clearly didn't last. Now we're back over $150 a share. Intel went up 0.8%. Nice day for Intel, and this is one that I was super close to buying more of in the mid-30s at $35, but you can see like the previous one, it didn't last. It hit 35, it kissed that point, and then we ended up ripping back. Now we're at about 37. So if Intel goes back to 35, maybe, lower 30s, I'd consider buying more. That's ticker symbol INTC. Let's see, where's Tesla at these days? I haven't looked at Tesla in a couple of days. Oh, wow, look at that. Tesla, we're seeing still clearly in a downwards channel. That is nothing new. I mean, we know that at this point. But if I zoom in a bit, maybe on the 20-day chart, we can see a wedge is clearly playing out. It's clearly in a wedge. We're making lower highs, but also higher lows. And we're right about at 700, which I'd say is a big point for the bulls to get out of. If the bulls could break 700, this stock could be moving up towards maybe 740, 50, based on this 4-hour. Actually, this is the 20-day chart. We've hit 750, 60 multiple times over the past couple of months. So this is a very choppy stock, very volatile. And based on the past, well, I said couple of months, I meant couple of weeks. We can see here we've hit 650 multiple times. And based on previous price action, which doesn't necessarily predict future price action, but, we could use it kind of as a guideline. 700, each time that's broken, we've hit the mid 700s. So let me know your thoughts, guys, in the comments. I'm going to wrap up the video right now. If you enjoyed it, make sure to smash that like button, drop me a comment, subscribe, join my Patreon if you want all my buy, sells, call outs, morning update videos, all that good stuff is on Patreon, link down below. Or you can go to stocksurfest.com/Patreon. And do not forget to get your free money, 10 stocks from Moomoo and 6 stocks from Webull. It also helps out the channel if you guys use those links down below. I appreciate you as always. And with that being said, cheers. I will see you in the next video. Peace out.